Okay, it started recording.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alondra,
And I'm Paulina.
and we are co-hosting this entrepreneurial mindset webinar today to get students thinking about entrepreneurship and the importance about becoming an entrepreneur. Because if you don't have a work permit, it's really important to get into entrepreneurship, especially in the United States, in order to make a viable source of income. So we'll begin.
Okay, so we wanted to begin by introducing one of the quotes that we believed really embodied what an entrepreneur is. This quote was written by John Hagel in the Harvard Business Review, and it says, "An entrepreneur is someone who sees an opportunity to create value and is willing to take a risk to capitalize on that opportunity." So we took some of the main takeaways from this quote to frame the structure of our presentation. So we're going to begin with the first takeaway, which is identifying an opportunity. And before we get into it, we wanted to ask you all to maybe put in the chat. We could all join and put in some skills and hobbies that you think you have, or that things you enjoy to do. So we'll take like a few minutes just for you to type some skills or hobbies. It could be more than one. We just want to see like the range. I love reading. Oh, tell me art. What is that?
Sounds fun.
That sounds fun. Videos. It's cool. Okay, great. So now that we see like the wide range of hobbies we all have, I'm going to demonstrate how we could put something simple into practice. So this is going to be like on our next slides. So one way to start is by identifying a target group. In other words, these are the people that you're interested in creating solutions for. So you have to figure out what problems they might have. For example, you see a friend that's having trouble with her calculus homework. Next, you're going to determine how you can solve this problem, or like how you could fill in the gaps. So do you have the skills or ideas that are necessary to help? In the same example, being skilled in calculus will enable you to have something of value to offer. So once you identify your skill, you could do research on whether or not the solution you're offering is in high demand and whether or not it could profit. So you could approach this research in many ways. One is like taking the social media or creating research surveys, or also checking out previously done research by competitors in the same field. So, but also in your business, you should be looking for ways that you're going to be different from your competitors. So going back to the example, you're doing your research and it shows that people around you are struggling with calculus. How can you expand on your skills? And if you think about becoming a tutor, what will you offer that will make you different from others and make them choose you as opposed to somebody else in the area?
Now, the second concept that's important to understand about entrepreneurship is the importance of creating value. And creating value comes down to being able to solve the problem, or to solve like the opportunity that you have identified. So to figure out a solution, you need to consider your competitive advantage. What's going to set you apart from everyone else who might be trying to address the same problem? Now, there are many ways to figure out your competitive advantage. And one of those ways is to identify your skills. So you might have professional skills such as public speaking, or you might have skills that are more like hobbies such as dancing or walking your dog or painting. Those are all very valuable skills in some way, shape, or form. And you might have a variety of skills that feel insignificant and or irrelevant to starting a business, but each skill takes a certain amount of dedication and effort. And that's what sets you apart from other people who might not have such skills developed the way that you do. Another way to problem solving is through your personal and academic experiences and the ways in which you navigate problems, or the ways in which you observe problems in the past being handled. So having these experiences is an opportunity to provide special insight towards the problem you're trying to address. And that can also be an advantage when you're starting a business. And the third way to solving a problem is by identifying characteristics of your personality. This is especially important because by identifying certain characteristics, you learn many things about yourself. You learn what you're good at and what you need to work on. So if you know what you're good at, such as socializing with others, then you know you can always find the help you need when you're starting your business. But if you're someone who has trouble socializing or just even connecting with other individuals, then you know that's something you need to do in order to find the right people to help you create your business. Now, the third and probably most important concept to understand about entrepreneurship is learning to take a risk. Now, everything you do when you start off is a risk. It's a risk to start a business. It's a risk to know where to invest your money. It's a risk to find people you can trust. Everything is a risk. And this tends to be true because you don't have the experience yet. You're playing a game that you're not familiar with. But that's okay because only time will help you gain that experience for you to be able to take wiser risks. Something important to realize is that when you're taking a risk, sometimes taking the risk doesn't work out in your favor. Sometimes you might encounter failures with the risk, and it's important to be accepting of those failures because even if one road doesn't take you to where you wanted to right away, there's going to be 100 other roads that can help you get to like the same destination. And who knows, maybe that by taking a different road, your destination might be more than what you were expecting. And that can always be a positive thing. So it's important as an entrepreneur to be able to take risks and adapt to the failures and the changes that happen along the way so that you can grow a thriving business.
So, in order to prepare yourself for these risks, you'll need to develop successful habits. We looked into an article written by podcast Hack the Entrepreneur, and they interviewed 483 entrepreneurs, and they found like 5 main characteristics that they all had in common. Now, you may not have all of these characteristics, but by setting a goal to make them your habits, you'll be better prepared to successfully execute your idea into a business. So, the first characteristic we're going to talk about is decisiveness. This is the ability to face a situation and make a strong decision in that moment. So it's not saying that you're making an impulsive decision, rather you're using your knowledge wisely and in a timely manner. So you could develop this habit in your day-to-day. A lot of us here struggle on choosing where to eat, and we give the choice to somebody else. So in order to develop your decisiveness, challenge yourself not only to take on small choices like this, but also make them as quickly and as confidently as you can.
Now, the second characteristic that was mentioned is confidence. So, unfortunately, we're not all born confident, but fortunately, confidence is a skill that we can all work on building. It's definitely something that is attainable. So, as you continuously learn new skills and information, your confidence will slowly start building up so that when you get to a point where you need to make a decision or you're in a situation where you're not confident doing the task, you at least have the confidence to keep going. And one way that we suggest to practice your confidence is by putting yourself in situations you normally tend to avoid. Doing so will put you out of your comfort zone and prepare you for a variety of situations in the future. Now, the third characteristic is accountability. And in short, accountability is just being able to take responsibility for your actions and the actions that happen within your business. Because now you can no longer just blame the system and you can no longer just blame the people. Rather, you have to take responsibility for the actions that happen within your business.
So for the fourth characteristic, we're going to talk about resilience. Obviously, making mistakes and failing are natural in any situation, but it could be especially daunting when you're creating your business. So, we need to remember that success does not happen in a straight line. There will be challenges, but if you ever want to see your business succeed, you're going to have to persevere through the trial and errors. And then the fifth characteristic, which is really important, is that you have to be willing to constantly learn, not only from those around you, but also from your own mistakes and experiences. So, allowing these moments to teach you rather than stop you is going to give you the ability to develop a growth mindset. So, now that we've talked about the characteristics and everything that comes within an entrepreneurial mindset, we want to present to you our guest speaker, Luis, who has taken his skills and created various entrepreneurial ventures, and he's going to go into depth about his experience with that. Hello.
Hello, all. Thank you so much for having me on this webinar. My name is Luis. It's a pleasure to share how I started my own entrepreneurial ventures. To start things off, I'd like to say that I believe your passions should be assets to your ability to support yourself financially. I'm sure all of you have some kind of hobbies or talents that you can be leveraged in a way to make money. So let me give you some examples of how I turned my passions into a flow of income. I started playing trumpet when I was in fourth grade. It was a special moment for me because I was the only fourth grader in my class that was chosen to play with the fifth graders. I felt like the chosen one for a long time until I got to high school. And I realized there was a huge gap between my abilities and people who have had private instruction. This discouraged me for a long time. There was no way I was going to catch up, I thought, because I didn't have parents who could afford to hire a private instructor for me. I felt for a long time like I had failed and like I was falling short every time, no matter how hard I tried. Even though it seems impossible for me to be the number one player, I still get a kick out of playing the trumpet every day. Maybe if I keep practicing every day, I might be amongst the greatest players in the world. That's my long-term goal. But looking back on what I've done, I can say that at times I've depended on trumpet income. When I wasn't working, I would play trumpet at the Oceanside Pier, and I would make about $50 a day for just playing about an hour or so. I had so much fun, and I couldn't believe people would throw money at me just for doing my thing. So after that realization, I decided to look for more opportunities where I could use music. So last year I won a Charles grant for $1,000, and all I had to do was lecture a high school jazz band for about an hour a week, which was not too much effort and got me a good amount of money. So this is my point. Being passionate pays, I promise, but you have to be proactive, accountable, and on the hunt for the small things that lead to your end goals. Here's another example of these qualities put into action. My major is cognitive science with a specialization in design and interaction, and that trains me to think small. After all, small things adding together have a big effect in the long run. So there was a year ago, getting a tattoo from my neighbor. That was the day I wanted to become a tattoo artist. I bought all the gear, practiced with my neighbor every day. He was actually not a great tattooist or a great artist. At that point, I realized that I had to, one, continue practicing as much as I could, and two, find somebody who had industry experience. I was in search for a mentor, and I was turned down by so many shops. Failure is inevitable, and that is definitely true in my case. I failed so many times. But I kept going, I kept looking. Eventually, I met someone who was a private tattoo artist, and he took me under his wing. He had me do things that would hone in on the small steps lead to big effects paradigm. Under his guidance, I would sit down for hours just tracing straight lines on pen and paper. As a result, I became very good at drawing straight lines, something critical for any tattoo artist to be able to do. Pretty soon, I had many people approaching me for tattoos. If anyone in the audience has a tattoo, you know that artists usually charge between $40 to hundreds of dollars just for a single tattoo session. You can imagine the thrill I was having. I was making about $150 a day by just doing my art thing, and I loved every minute of it. On this slide, you can see some of my most recent products, homemade stickers. These designs are turned into stickers here at Mouse, and I sell them locally. I'm currently working on getting all of them on third-party websites so they can be bought from anywhere in the world. I'm talking mostly about the results of my hard work, but I would like to stress that none of these experiences would have been possible without one simple rule that I lived by, the platinum rule. We know the golden rule from kindergarten, treat others how you want to be treated. But I think the next level up is the platinum rule, treat others how they want to be treated. Using the platinum rule when networking means showing you care about someone on a deeper level. You are going above and beyond to explore what excites a person and what they're all about. This is not only showing that you admire them, but that you pay attention well and that you can be in the same conceptual space with them. If your goal is in a venture is to find a mentor or team members to help you out, then the platinum rule will bring you closer to people and allow you to make bigger networks quickly. By expanding your networks and sharing your own passion with others in a way they can understand, you are actively setting the stage for new opportunities to emerge. Hopefully, my anecdotes have inspired you to take your passions to the next level. If there is one thing I'd like for you to take away, is that networking and being humble are keystone traits that will increase your chances of finding meaningful opportunities. So get out there today and show the world what you're made of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Luis. If anyone has any questions for Luis or Paulina and myself, this would be the time. You can write them on the chat, or you could just ask them out if you do.
Oh, it looks like our guest speakers are about to arrive. So maybe save any questions you have towards the end, and then we'll be able to cover those shortly. Okay, so we'll continue with the presentation. And right now we're going to introduce to you all some campus resources that are going to provide guidance for students interested in creating their entrepreneurial ventures. So first we have our speaker from OIC coming. Is she here?
I believe Gwen is not here yet, but
I'm here.
oh, hi Gwen.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here. I want to say, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I feel it's important that we reach out to all of our students and share our knowledge and experiences. And this is what I've been doing for, I guess, the last 18 years. You'll hear my cat in the background. She wants attention every time I'm on a call, so just ignore the cat. I'm a UCSD alumni. I worked in the biotech industry for a dozen years, and then I came back here on campus. Initially, our office only did technology transfer. So we would take all the inventions that were created in a laboratory, and we would patent it and market it to other companies to license it. But in the past 5 years, we've had basically like an evolution and a revolution, where we've put together innovation and entrepreneurship programs specifically targeted for students. We really feel that it's important for us to invest in students, to give them educational opportunities and programming that you wouldn't really get in a regular classroom or curriculum, and also help them to form networks and find mentors. And like Luis, many of us in our group do believe in the platinum rule. You know, treat people how they want to be treated. And, you know, we try to treat everyone with mutual respect. One of the programs that just started last week that I wanted to share with you guys is called the Essentials of Entrepreneurship. We've been holding this for the last 4 years, and it's held every quarter. And typically in the academic year, we will change the day of the week or the time and location so that we try to reach people where they're at instead of them coming to us. This is typically an 8 or 9 week course lecture that goes over all the different modules of creating a business. But one of the more important modules that we have is called Introduction to Design Thinking. And this is applicable to any idea or business that you might have, not just necessarily like startup companies or high-tech companies or biotech companies. We also bring in guest speakers to share their experience with the students. So again, it's no cost. You know, we put this together because we don't want there to be a barrier for any student. So it doesn't matter whether you're an undergrad, graduate student, postdoc, even staff, we welcome everyone, all comers. One of the things that we're doing this quarter, which is different because now we're online and doing Zoom webinars, is we're going to have virtual office hours so that students have access to the instructors and ask them questions, and just to get a better feel for what they might possibly want to do with regards to entrepreneurship. And one of the things that we all always stress is that do not be afraid to fail. You have to ideate, you have to try, you have to build, fix, or perfect and fail. A lot of companies and businesses fail. Maybe the first time, maybe even the second time. But through that failure, you do learn a lot of lessons that can help you succeed for your next venture. So I just wanted to talk about that particular program because my other colleague will talk about the basement and all the services that they have. But I want to encourage you, we've actually partnering with the extension program. You should search out entrepreneurship on the extension website and sign up for our next class because it is free. And now that we're online, I don't know if it will continue, but you don't even have to like walk to a classroom. But it's really something that I learned something new, and I've been sitting there for the last 4 or 5 years because it's like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't catch that the first like 4 or 5 times that I heard it. But a lot of it too is just opening your mind to other possibilities. So that's all of my presentation for today. Thank you again. If you ever have questions or anything related to innovation or entrepreneurship, you can always send an email to innovation@ucsd.edu, and we will get you to the right person to help you.
I have a question. You said that there's a free program through Extension.
Yes.
Can somebody post the link to that?
Oh, yeah. I will grab it, and I guess I can put it in chat, right?
Yes.
And so if you go to the actual website, it'll tell you that there's a cost. But what you do is you email our colleague Nathan Owens at Extension, and he will provide a code.
Gwen, I went ahead, this is Christine, I went ahead and put the link in the chat for everyone.
Oh, you did? Awesome. She's faster than me. Yay.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Does anyone else have any questions for Gwen? Okay. Thank you so much, Gwen, for coming.
You're welcome. I'm going to mute now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So next, we'll like to introduce the basement, which is another campus resource, and discussing the basement will be Christine Liu.
All right. Do you think it's possible for me to share my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will stop sharing mine.
All right. Let me make sure I have the right one. All right. So everyone can see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to start with this one. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christine Liu, the Assistant Director of Operations at the Basement. Just want to give you all a brief overview of what the Basement is and how we can be of service for all of you students. So we are an incubator center. We focus on student entrepreneurship. So whether if you have a business idea or social innovation idea, the Basement is here to help you. Given that everything is in a remote capacity now, all of our events are now virtual, so you're all welcome to attend our event. So I just want to go over a couple of resources that can help you kind of guide your way through your entrepreneurship journey. So the Basement program, if you go to our website, it's ucsdbasement.com. Here you'll see our main landing page. We have a lot of different events that you can all participate in. So if you scroll down here, you'll see our events here. But I also will show you our Facebook page. It's a little bit easier to navigate to see what events we have coming up. So scrolling back up here to the top, I wanted to go over some of the programs that we have. So our Blackstone Launchpad program is our annual incubator program. We only have 2 recruitment cycles, one's in fall and one's in winter. So we don't have a cycle for the spring, but if you're a continuing student and you're working on your idea, I encourage you to consider applying for fall 2020. So here it gives you more information about our different programs. We may be making some changes for the upcoming year, so be sure to check out our website over the summer, and then the application will be listed here once that is available. An exciting opportunity we do have available right now is our summer program. We actually just updated the website earlier this week. It's called our Converge Summer Incubator Program. It's an 8-week program together with the Academic Enrichment Program. So the program is over the summer, runs from June through August actually, and there's sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So it's really an 8-week program to help you either if you have an idea to work on your idea over the summer, or if you don't have an idea but you're interested in entrepreneurship, there's an opportunity for you to partake in an opportunity to make a change in the local community. So we'll be partnering with the city of San Diego and other folks within the local ecosystem to actually work on a real solution for a real problem. And the program is open to all students, so you must be registered for fall 2020. But all students are encouraged to apply, and there's also a live-in stipend. So if you want to be able to work on your idea without having to worry about housing or living expenses, this is a great opportunity to be involved. The application is live, so if you're interested in applying, we do highly encourage you to attend one of 2 virtual info sessions that are coming up, and the application itself is due at the end of this month. The application can be found. On to our Facebook page. Our Facebook handle is just UCSD Basement. If you haven't followed us already, I encourage you to do so. We have a lot of content on here. You can see under our events, I listed, mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of events that are happening. All these are all virtual, they're all on Zoom. So if you're interested in these topics, I encourage you to come and check them out. We have pretty much an event every single week. I did want to highlight once again the Converge Incubator Program, and here it will tell you, will show you all the Zoom links for the info session. So if you're at all interested in this, highly encourage you to jump on a call so that we can get more information. We're really excited to have an opportunity for students who don't have an idea but want to get involved to apply, so it's a great opportunity. And if you're looking for something more immediate and you want to be a part of a current basement team, we have our first virtual spring recruitment fair. So if you haven't attended a recruitment fair before, we typically have these winter and spring quarter. This is our first time doing a virtual one, so we're kind of testing it out. But the recruitment fair, currently we have 10 current basement teams that will be recruiting for current students such as yourself to join their team. Everything will be done via Zoom. We still need to work out all the logistics for it. So if you want to learn more information, I encourage you to follow the event. And then we'll post more information about the teams that are hiring and what they're hiring for within this event itself. And then going back to our other events, you can see we have a lot of different ones. This think tank event is also a great one for any aspiring entrepreneurs. you want to test out your idea to your peers, this is a great opportunity to test it out. Our think tank events, you get 3 minutes, you get 3 slides, and you get to ask your audience 3 questions. And the audience will give you feedback on your idea. It's a great way to test out a new idea you haven't tested out before, and they get additional feedback so you can help tweak your idea. So that's the listing of the events. Feel free to follow us on Facebook. We constantly update it as more events come up. And then another program I did want to mention too, we don't have anything on our website at this time, but we are starting a new program in the fall of this upcoming year. It's the Latina Entrepreneurial Leadership Program. So it's really focused on helping Latina students hone in on their entrepreneur competencies and leadership skills to help them during their time here at UCSD and their time after graduation. So we're really excited to launch that new program. We'll have more information coming up on our website and most likely on Facebook as well. So those are the best places to follow us. And lastly, we do have opportunities for students to receive academic credit. So we have a partnership with the Academic Internship Program, or AIP, for folks who are currently working on a basement team. So if you're interested in joining a team, I encourage you to check out our recruitment fair and then potentially apply for our AIP credit. And then lastly, I know it's a lot of information, but lastly, we do have a newsletter that you can sign up for on our website. If you go under news and events, if you go to news and media, you go under here, you can subscribe to our newsletter. We do have a weekly newsletter, it gives you an outline of all of our upcoming events, other events on campus, and also events in the ecosystem, and any application deadlines or for the basement or for any other incubator programs, we're listed there as well. So those are ways in which you can get involved. And as follow us on social media, our handle is just UCSD Basement. And thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all. We have a lot of opportunities with the basement, so I encourage you to check them out, whether it's virtually or once we're able to open back up. Come on by and visit us. We are located in Mandeville, all the way in the basement on level B2 and room B202. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Would you be able to share with us the 8-week summer application link on the chat?
Yes, definitely. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And now we have one more resource to talk about. So I'm just going to share my screen with you all one more time. Christine?
Yes.
Could you end the screen sharing, please?
Yes, sorry.
No, you're fine.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So can you all see my screen? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So, Christian?
Yes.
Okay. Christian is the assistant coordinator at Undocumented Student Services, and she will be discussing Immigrants Rising. They are not a campus resource, but they are a very valuable resource for the undocumented community.
Yes. Thank you, Alondra. Yes. So, actually, can I share my screen so I could navigate the website? Okay, perfect. Immigrants Rising. Okay, so Immigrants Rising is, it started off as a state resource to provide opportunities for undocumented folks to access entrepreneurship and higher education opportunities. And they've actually expanded to provide resources pretty much all over the country by having fellowships, financial support for startups and entrepreneur and small businesses and entrepreneurs. And they are an organization that we utilize heavily to be able to provide even more resources specifically for undocumented entrepreneurs. And I wanted to show you all their how to access these resources. So when you go to the resources tab here, you can actually find various themes and topics like art and empowerment, entrepreneurship and freelancing, higher education, and then law and policy. So I always utilize the entrepreneurship and freelancing option. And they do have other like webinars and digital resources and handouts specifically that are tailored for undocumented entrepreneurs because there are many specific policies in which undocumented entrepreneurs have to navigate through. And so I highly recommend to utilize them and their resources. They're also available in Spanish. And so I know one that we've used heavily is like the 5 tips to get started. So let me go ahead and show you all. So, and the very first one is, developing an entrepreneurial mindset, and then going into specifically the considerations of, contracting and freelancing and marketing and accessing financial capital. So this is one resource that we use a lot. And it's something that I constantly, recommend for students and for really anybody that is looking into starting their own business. And as mentioned, considering that undocumented folks, especially those that don't have a work permit, their options to generate an income are quite limited. Entrepreneurship and income generating through, freelancing or independent contractor work are ways that that it's possible. So so that's one that we wanted to share, in addition to utilizing, the Office of Innovation and Commercialization with Gwen, and the Basement with Christine. This is another state resource that is really, really helpful, and especially during this time when things are so uncertain, for us to, heavily, to utilize, to be able to kind of encourage this, this mindset of entrepreneurship. So, okay, and I'll go ahead and stop sharing and then hand it over to you, Alondra or Paulina.
Thank you, Christian. I see we have a question. Nayeli, does the website have info on independent contracting for undoc people? And I believe
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes. Yeah, yes, it does. So when you click on the themes and topics and click under entrepreneurship, there's various topics within, entrepreneurship, like, for example, how to obtain an I-10, or what is the difference between like a worker cooperative and LLC. So, and it's all tailored specifically for undocumented folks. So yes.
Does anyone else have any question for anyone?
Yes, for Luis, I see the Basement or something about Immigrants Rising. Feel free to say it out loud or just text it in the chat.
I actually had a question for Christine. So with the Basement, are there, so since it's kind of a place for startups, are the startups that are started in the Basement, are they able to continue after the students graduate from UCSD?
That's a good question. So currently, due to space capacity issues, we are only permitted to assist students who are current students in the Basement. That's not to say that once a student graduates, we don't have additional resources for them. We just find different avenues where we can still support them, whether that's working in conjunction in a different facility or helping them find an off-campus incubator that they can later on join. So for now, our program is intended for current enrolled UCSD students.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, if no one else has any more questions, that pretty much just concludes the webinar for today. And I appreciate everyone for coming and joining us. Please stay tuned on our social media feed. We will be having an entrepreneurship webinar every 2 weeks for the rest of this quarter. Each 2 weeks, we'll be discussing a different topic. So I believe in the next week 4, we will be having a special guest. His name is Alejandro. I don't remember. Sanchez, I believe,
Alejandro Flores Munoz, and then he's also a seasoned entrepreneur, and he identifies as queer, DACA, and Latinx, and his life's work is aiming to champion for the next generation of intersectional entrepreneurs. And just some background on him, he's also done commentary roles on media outlets like Univision, or also has done a speaking tour. So he's going to provide some valuable insight for us in the next 2 weeks. So please look forward to that. And is another Flores. Our speaker today was also Luis Flores. So thank you to all our speakers. And if there's no more questions, then this would conclude our webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank
Thank
you. Bye.
you.
Paulina, do you want to stop recording?
Yeah.